Howdy y'all, I'm Charlie. Welcome to my channel. Today, we're gonna be discussing a question that keeps me up at night. That is furries. Are we a fandom or something else? Stay tuned and we'll talk about it. So, one of my first videos on this channel had me making quite the hot take. I basically argued that the furry fandom, the furry fandom, is in fact not a fandom, but something else. The argument was that fandoms, like Star Trek and bronies and sport fandoms, have a canonical piece of media that they're fans of. Trekkies have the original syndicated series, bronies have My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, and sport fandoms have the weekly games and team history. Furries do not have a central piece of media that we are fans of. Like, we may like Zootopia and Beastars, but these are not the central organizing features of furries. Rather, I argue furries are fans of an aesthetic. This is, of course, the anthropomorphic animal aesthetic as it exists in its modern depictions. I said because furries are primarily interested in aesthetic that they are not a fandom because fandoms are composed of fans of a particular piece of canon media. In the past however many weeks though, my opinion has evolved and gained some nuance. Basically, I see the definition that I offered for fandom is a bit too limiting and doesn't encompass the more totalizing aspects of fandom. Now, I am not the only person to be interested in studying fandoms from a critical academic lens. There is in fact an entire field of study, fan studies, that is interested in doing this. I've become more read on the topic, which gives you the take that I offer you now. I would like to change my stance on this topic. Furries are, in fact, a fandom, but furries are not a fandom because of what they are fans of, but rather because of what they do. Let me explain by engaging with the scholarship of fan studies. Henry Jenkins' book, Textual Poachers, offers us a useful framework to consider what makes a group of fans a distinct, analyzable community. His text described fans as textual poachers. What does that mean? How does one become a poacher of text? It actually makes a lot of sense if you've been around like any fandom at all. Let's take a look at a quote. Fans recognize that the relationship to the text remains a tentative one, that their pleasures often exist on the margins of the original text and in the face of the producer's own efforts to regulate its meanings. While fans display a particularly strong attachment to popular narratives, act upon them in ways which make them their own property in some senses, they are also acutely and painfully aware that those fictions do not belong to them, and that someone else has the power to do things to those characters that are in direct contradiction to the fan's own cultural interests. So when a fan poaches a text, like a TV show or a movie or something, they take from it what they want and then mess around with the bits that they take. Consider the original Star Trek fanfictions. Fans of Star Trek would take the show's original characters and put them in relationships and situations that the creators of the show would not do. How about a Fox in Space? We have new meanings and situations applied to characters that already exist in the original story. These reworkings and remixes are meaningful to fans and tie them closer to the media that they're fans of. Fans can rework their own meanings into things, but what gets made as the original text is up to the producers and studios. Sometimes those creators and studios listen, but a lot of times they don't, often to fans' displeasure. Consider how terribly the last season of Game of Thrones was received, or the Cats movie, or that one time furries chased Tony the Tiger off Twitter. This relationship is standard among fandoms, and it's a relationship that furries also share. I already mentioned the Tony the Tiger situation, but think of all the different media that furries take inspiration from. They are all remixes of media that is ultimately out of furries' control. We've seen much art of Zootopia, like Takimoto's lovely wolf pairings, the boys from Beastars in various fan-made scenarios. You get the picture here. However, furries take it a step further. A lot of furry content is not merely fan-made remixes of mainstream media. A lot of characters and narratives are self-created. However, the aesthetic that they are rendered in is a remix of various anthro depictions across and between media. A lot of artist styles merge and rework various anthro styles from more mainstream depictions, taking inspiration from bigger studios and making it their own. You have some artists who look more Disney, some more Looney Tunes, some more anime, or some kind of hybrid between all of those. Furries are thereby not only poaching text, but the very aesthetic that those texts are forged from. Furries therefore poach text at two levels, the media itself as well as the aesthetic. Jenkins also calls fans nomads. His book reads, media fan culture, like other forms of popular reading, may be understood not in terms of an exclusive interest in any one series or genre, Rather, media fans take pleasure in making intertextual connections across a broad range of media texts. Basically, what he means is that people who are in one fandom are typically not just in a single fandom. They are nomadic. They move around from TV show to TV show to movie to book, etc., etc. And they may combine those interests in various media into their own creations. The preeminent example, in my opinion, is the Super Hulocks from my Tumblr days. Super Hulocks were people who were fans of, or I guess still are fans of, maybe, Supernatural, Doctor Who, and Sherlock. 3 different shows, but the same crew of people. People in the One Piece fandom may also be in the Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood fandom, or the One Punch fandom. You get the picture. Fans are fans of lots of different media, and may claim community with different fandoms, and may remix those various media together. Furries are nomads broadly. We've already kind of discussed this. Furries are fans of Beastars and Red Bull and Looney Tunes and Bonkers, etc., etc. Furries are also in various other fandoms like anime. We are nomadic of texts. But furries are also nomadic with their aesthetic interest as well. Furries may aesthetically like Looney Tunes, as well as more anime-type styles and fursuit and mascot costumes. Furries both poach aesthetics, but also nomadically traverse those aesthetics as well. So, I claim furries are a fandom, just a little bit different. Because furries are both poachers and nomads of texts, they fit the bill of being a fandom. But furries also behave like fandoms in other notable ways. We host conventions, do our own form of cosplay, and write fanfiction much the way other fandoms do. Furries' uniting feature, an interest in the anthropomorphic animal aesthetic, does not separate us from other fandoms, but rather enables our behavior akin to theirs. Though what we are interested in may be different, the way we behave is very similar. In my opinion, this makes furries a fandom. I mean, it's what we've been calling ourselves anyway, so thank y'all so much for watching this. If you made it this far in the video, please consider giving me a like and subscribe. Also, please consider donating to Indigenous efforts. I have a link in the doobly-doo. Alright, thank y'all so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!